Attention visual learners. Did you know The Pour Over is also available as an email newsletter? It's just like our podcast, but for your eyeballs. And if that's not convincing enough, we're giving away a free $5 Chick-fil-A gift card to everyone who signs up for our newsletter today, August 8th. Just click the link in the show notes and get politically neutral, Christ First news in your inbox every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Hey, this is Joe at The Pour Over.
And this is Bailey at The Pour Over.
Today, we're talking about a shooting at a U.S. Army base, Uncle Sam's economic plans for pressuring Russia into a ceasefire with Ukraine, President Trump's reciprocal tariffs officially taking effect, and other top news for Friday, August 8th. Stay informed while remaining focused on Christ with The Pour Over.
Here's your quote of the day. A man who governs his passions is master of his world. We must either command them or be enslaved by them. It is better to be a hammer than an anvil. Saint Dominic.
Let's get started with some espresso shots. A U.S. Army sergeant allegedly shot and wounded 5 fellow soldiers at Fort Stewart, Georgia, on Wednesday. The suspect, a 28-year-old automated logistics sergeant with no combat history, reportedly used his personal handgun. Law enforcement was dispatched to the 2nd Armored Brigade combat team area at 10:56 a.m. The base was locked down by 11:04 a.m., and the suspect was in custody by 11:35 a.m. 3 of the wounded required surgery. All are in stable condition and expected to recover. Other soldiers immediately intervened and, quote, without a doubt, prevented further casualties. Officials say the suspect had a previous DUI arrest that was unknown to his chain of command. The FBI and the Army's Criminal Investigation Division are investigating the incident. A motive has not been identified. Even in the most structured and disciplined places in this world, sin and brokenness and their painful consequences are still present. But Christians can find hope in the promise that one day, the consequences of brokenness will be no more and all will be made right. Revelation 21 verse 4 says, He will wipe away every tear from their eyes. Death will be no more. Grief, crying, and pain will be no more, because the previous things have passed away.
The U.S. is hoping some economic pain will steer Russia off the warpath in Ukraine. Next month, Uncle Sam will auction the most valuable asset seized from Russian oligarchs yet, the Amadea, a 348-foot superyacht worth an estimated $300 million. U.S. Marshals seized the floating mansion from owner Suleiman Kerimov, a close ally of Russian President Putin. Seeking to get other countries on board with the pressure campaign, the U.S. is imposing sanctions on Russian trading partners today. India faces a 50% import tax, 25% for trade deficit, 25% punishment for buying Russian oil. New Delhi has vowed to, quote, take all actions necessary to protect its national interests. Diplomatic efforts are still afloat. Following U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff's meeting at the Kremlin on Wednesday, President Trump said there's a, quote, very good chance of a Putin-Zelensky-Trump parlay. Here's a verse to consider when international waters are feeling choppy. For a child will be born to us, a son will be given to us, and the government will be on his shoulders. He will be named Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Eternal Father, Prince of Peace. The dominion will be vast, and its prosperity will never end. Isaiah 9, 6 through 7.
After months of extensions and negotiations, President Trump's reciprocal tariffs are officially in effect. As of yesterday, most imported goods now face a minimum 10% baseline tariff, with the average tariffed country seeing a 17% rate. Some countries are really feeling the squeeze. Syria, 41%, Laos and Myanmar, 40%, and Switzerland, 39%, which is still hoping to negotiate better terms with Uncle Sam. Others reached agreements including the EU, Japan, and South Korea, all 15%, and the UK, 10%. Still others, like China and Mexico, remain in levy limbo, with their rates paused. Trump didn't wait to celebrate, posting at midnight yesterday, quote, "Billions of dollars in tariffs are now flowing into America." Industries seem less excited. The new levies have begun disrupting supply chains and are expected to raise prices on a wide range of overseas goods, from TVs to tangerines. Regardless of how tariffs affect the economy, both today and in the long term, their impact doesn't change the end of the story. Wealth comes and goes. Only King Jesus will receive tribute from the whole world. Psalm 72, verses 10 through 12 says, "May the kings of Tarshish and the coasts and islands bring tribute. The kings of Sheba and Seba offer gifts. Let all kings bow in homage to him. All nations serve him. For he will rescue the poor who cry out and the afflicted who have no helper." Back to school season means your kids are about to read a whole lot of books. So why not make sure they have the most important one in their backpack? The Christian Standard Bible makes it easy with a full lineup of Bibles designed for even the youngest readers, like the dyslexia-friendly CSB Grace Bible for kids, the Creative Journal and Draw Bible, and the in-depth CSB Student Study Bible. They're accurate, readable, and built to help young readers understand the Word, not just skim it. You can even personalize them to remind your student that Jesus calls them by name. Shop CSB's back-to-school gift guide at csbible.com/gift guide or check out the link in the show notes.
In other brews, here's a rapid round of updates. HHS Secretary RFK Jr. is canceling nearly $500 million in federal funding for mRNA vaccine research. Kennedy says mRNA vaccines, which can be developed faster than traditional vaccines, are ineffective and announced funding will shift toward, quote, safer, broader vaccine platforms. Critics say mRNA technology is essential for national security, delivering, quote, safe, scalable vaccines in record time.
ESPN and the NFL are now in league. The owner of the country's favorite Sunday afternoon activity, aside from post-church naps, acquired a 10% stake in Disney-owned ESPN, worth $2 to $3 billion, in exchange for the NFL Network, Red Zone, and its fantasy football platform. ESPN is also tag teaming with the WWE, signing a 5-year, $1.6 billion agreement that gives ESPN rights to WrestleMania and SummerSlam.
Apple's taking a bigger bite into domestic manufacturing. CEO Tim Cook and President Trump co-announced plans for Apple to invest another $100 billion, adding to the $500 billion previously promised in U.S.-based parts manufacturers. Think glass, semiconductors. Though Cook said iPhones will be assembled overseas, quote, for a while. Trump also proposed 100% tariffs on imported semiconductors, unless companies commit to making them stateside.
President Trump ordered work to begin on a new census that will not count illegal immigrants. Census data, which has historically included foreign-born survey participants regardless of legal status, determines how House seats are divided among the states every decade. The White House announcement comes amid congressional map-drawing battles that began in Texas and are spreading across the country.
The first female ump is on deck for the regular season. Major League Baseball is promoting Jen Powell to work the bases for Saturday's Marlins-Braves doubleheader and call the balls and strikes for Sunday's game. Powell has steadily climbed the umpiring ranks since her pro career began in the rookie leagues in 2016.
That's all we have for today. Thanks so much for listening, TPO fam. If you're listening on the Apple Podcasts app, give us a 5-star rating and drop a review. If you're listening on Spotify, give us a follow and hit the notification bell to never miss a new episode. We're grateful for your support and hope you have a great weekend. See you Monday. The other day in the kitchen, I poured citrus element powder in my water bottle. My wife looked at me and asked when the last time was that I drank water without element. I looked at her and couldn't even remember. No sugar, no crashes, just the science-backed ratio of electrolytes we need to stay sharp. Honestly, it's the real MVP of the pour-over. Stay fresh and hydrated with us. The pour-over listeners get a free 8-pack of Element's most popular drink flavors with any drink mix purchase. Just use the Element link in the show notes.